It was 1868, the war was a distant memory, the sounds of growth and development were being heard throughout the city. The first house had been built back in 1862, and by 1865 the population had grown from 500 to 5,500. The first railroad tracks were laid that year, and equal rights became the topic of the day. Then in December 1866 the Equal Rights Association was formed within the city. Now, in 1868, President Andrew Johnson's term was ending, and the presidential campaigns were in full swing. Ulysses S. Grant versus the Honorable Horatio Seymour. Who would win this most important election? In September of 1868, just before the election in November, Susan B. Anthony spoke at Plum Street Hall, in Vineland. Inspired by her, a group of women in Vineland staged what was then the largest suffrage protest in America. But to tell this story, we must go back a few years, to a young entrepreneur by the name of Charles K. Landis.
Henrietta, always a pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Likewise.
I hear you're ready to buy a house here in Vineland.
Yes, I am.
All right, let's have a seat. Okay, so I'm going to turn this town into a cosmopolitan city. I want people who want to make this city great, not just speculators. So if you're going to buy a house here, you're going to have to put a building at least 20 feet from the road in the city, 75 feet from if you're in the country. And that'll allow you to keep the dust out of the road. It allows you to focus on your ornamentation, your shrubbery, your flowers, and make your lot look really beautiful.
Landis describes to Henrietta the stipulations that are necessary in purchasing land in the city. Vineland was different from other new establishments in that it was required that the purchasers should adhere to certain rules if they wanted to buy land.
Charles Landis purchased this land and it was wilderness, but he had a vision of a progressive utopian community. And he didn't want people to just come in and buy up a bunch of his land. He wanted people to come with their families, with skills, with businesses, and he wanted these people to help grow and build his town.
It has been many years since the women of Vineland voted in the 1868 presidential election. One of the leaders of the movement, Portia Gage, tells a young child about that momentous day.
You know, when your grandfather, John, and I first came to Vineland, we came here for a special reason. The reason was that everyone in the community had the same ideas about equal rights. Everyone would have the same rights. White, black, men all could vote, but women couldn't. So your grandfather and I, we worked hard to get women the vote.
Portia was one of 172 other women from Vineland who shared this view. Vineland was also ahead of its time with regards to race relations, meaning 4 of these 172 women were African American. In a time when the United States was trying to heal from the wounds of the Civil War, this was a rather unique circumstance. One of those 4 African American women was Henrietta Crawford.
Henrietta, congratulations on your beautiful new home.
Thank you, Mr. Landis. I appreciate it. Oh, good morning, Portia.
Good morning.
Come on in. Come on in. Take a look. I'm still adding some things to the house, but I'm getting started. I made the quilt for the bed, and I have a spot where I can. Oh, thank you so very much. I'm still decorating, and you're gonna put curtains on the window. Oh, I found the greatest fabric. I can't wait to put some curtains here and some curtains over there. I do have some things on the stove, so do you want to stay to eat for lunch?
Sure. Well, how are you finding Vineland?
Oh, I love Vineland. I'm so happy with the progressivism. However, I think we could go much further as it relates to women's rights and their right to vote.
Charles Landis had certain stipulations for people if they were going to be new members of this town. They had to have a house on the land. They had to show improvements. They had to have a garden. They had to grow vegetables and make it look nice, but also make it useful for the people on the land.
Portia, you have to take a look. Look at my little garden. I know it's a little start, but Mr. Landis made it very clear that he wanted everyone to add to the city of Vineland if they were coming, and I planted some herbs and some sage over here.
Gardening and farming were integral parts of home ownership. Farms and gardens included many forms of produce, including herbs, grapes, tomatoes, and peppers.
Vineland was the site for the first New Jersey State Convention for universal suffrage in 1867. The women of Vineland were so moved that then they created a group called the Equal Rights Association. And the main focus was the fact that all people should have the right to vote, regardless of gender or race.
Good morning. This is the place to vote? It is. Very good. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Yes. I'm sure my candidate will be
At that time, it was said that the polls were no place for women. And Portia Gage was curious and brave and decided to walk into an active polling station where the men were voting. She was surprised to find that there was nothing crazy going on there. There was nothing wild, and the men actually greeted her. They were very respectful to her, and that got her thinking that she could go back with some more women with her and see what happens if they tried to walk in and actually place their own vote. A group of these very motivated ladies got together, started talking and planning. They knew that an election was upcoming for a mayor, and they thought this would be a good time for them to walk in and attempt to vote and see what happens.
Yes, would you like
Portia, Henrietta, and other women meet to discuss their actions for tomorrow's vote.
Blueberries are from my farm. We had a great crop. Mrs. Stevens is here.
Oh, come in, Mrs. Stevens. I'm so glad you could be with us today. I asked all of you ladies to come here today because I want to share my experience at the voting polls. The voting polls are not a dangerous place. I went with my husband and I tried to vote. They wouldn't let me vote, but they treated me kindly. It was a safe environment. They were polite. They were gentlemanly. I had no fears at all when I went in to vote. It was just a great experience for me. And I think that we can talk together and make a plan as to how we can go to the next election and we can vote all together. I want you to talk to your friends. I want you to get people together so that we can vote.
At one end of the hall stood the men of Vineland, prepared to vote, while the 172 women stood in the back, blueberry crate in hand, ready to cast their ballots.
When the women walked into this election, they knew that there was a chance that they would not be allowed to put their ballot in the men's ballot box, but they came prepared and they brought their own box with them. And they were determined to make this a lasting legacy for women's rights and women's suffrage. And it used to be said that even if women had the right to vote, that they probably wouldn't. And these women proved that saying wrong, that not only would they want the right to vote, that they would fight for it. And these 172 women walking into this election was the largest protest of its time. And it encouraged others to do the same. And that started right here in Vineland.
And that's the story of how I got 172 women to vote with me that day in November. We took our own voting box with us. It was a little blueberry crate that we took so that we could put our ballots in it. The men wouldn't let us use theirs, so we used our own. Oh.